Okay, so I'm going to show you how to shape another vase. This one I'm going to do a little different. This one I'm going to belly out low. So I started with a chunk of clay, got some centering done, now we're at the raising. So I'm going to push really hard. I'm going to climb really steady. Watch the pace. Remember to breathe when you're raising. Breathing helps set pace. Now, I usually listen to music when I throw, and you'll find that music helps a lot. And sometimes when I don't have music, I'll get a little song in my head just to help with my pace. Well, each time at the bottom, I notch a little bit off, add a little bit more water, or a lot more in my case. Wrap the sponge over my finger and push. There we go. And as I come up, I'm just gently easing away on the inside. I want to be aggressive at the base where it's thickest, then ease up as I climb where I know it's going to be thinner. I'm going to talk a little bit louder now because I have the AC coming on behind me, and we also have the bugs beginning to sing again. So, and they can get quite loud. I dragged off that clay that ended up planing out that time. I didn't do a perfect job of it, but it'll be just fine. I'm going to go back to the bottom and push again. Bring that clay up. And see how I move closer as I come up? I didn't want to stay way off to the side. And if I bring my chair up, I can actually get over the lip of the splash pad. And this is what I do on really big pieces. I get really, really close and I get over the clay better instead of off to the side. Okay, now on this piece, I know I'm going to belly out, so I actually need to leave clay down here. If it was going to come up and out, then I could take more of it away. Quite a bit of water. That should do it. Okay, so I'm quite thick down here, but I'm going to bring this out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the base. I'm actually going to push in a tiny bit first, and then immediately push out. And then I'm going to bring both those hands together out into the beginning of this curve. And as I come up and through, I'm going to roll my fingers of the inside hand out in kind of a sweeping motion. I focus not on the inside hand, I focus on the outside hand because it, in essence, keeps everything steady. It's the side that's locked in. So it needs to be in control, which means it needs to be your focus. If you start thinking about this hand, your right side is going to get loose, and as soon as it does, the pot's going to get really loose. So focus on the right. So I push in a little bit, and I push out. Take my little speed up a little bit to help me. And I'm rolling my fingers out. And now, once I reach the point where I'm like, that's enough, I stop, and then I bring the other hand over the top. So the outside hand continues to move to create this rolling shape back in. Okay. Now I have a couple choices here. I could leave this curve as it is, or if I want the curve to be higher on this pot, if I go, oh, that's too low. I don't want this much above. I want it to come a little bit wider above. That's fine. I just start right here and I go ahead and allow it to get wider longer. I'll probably actually drop all the way down to the bottom and just feel through that section. I'd like to know how thick it is. This I'm going to collar slightly, the rim. So I'm going to just slide through here. Now, this is where I started coming in last time, but now I'm going to keep going out. And now I'll roll over. Okay. Now to correct the imperfection in that curve, I could roll back through with my sponge and my fingers again, or I love this guy because it covers so much surface at one time. So I'm going to bend it into a curve. I'm just going to roll that tool through here once or twice, gently moving my fingers from here on the inside, from here to here, just kind of gently moving all of that clay out into this rib. There we go. Just like that. Okay, so at this point you got a few choices. You can keep going, or if you suspect that the top of this curve is having issues, if it feels weak, if it's too thin, if you stretched it too thin, you can do a couple things. You can actually put a fan. I've got a little one down here that's battery operated. I can set right in front and blow air on it. You could take a torch and you could torch across this section. Again, or you can just keep going if it feels like it's in good shape. And on this one, we'll just keep going. If this pot was really large, I would probably take a lunch break. I mean, if it was a big one and it's out here, I would probably set up the fan, go inside, have lunch, come back out in 20 minutes and keep working. And it would be, you know, that 20 minutes would be more than enough to really strengthen this section and allow me to be very aggressive above it. And that's really what I want. Okay. So here, all we're doing is a collar. And there's a chance it'll get cranky right here. This is the weakest point of the pot. The top of this circle right here is where it's weakest. And I'm just going to roll this over gently. And I'm kind of watching. If it starts to dip, then there's a way to save that. I would just reach in, lift, and bring the whole wall in a little bit. And now I'm going to collar. And I'm going to collar just above that a little bit. Leaving that part in between sticking out a little bit. Push in. Push in. And roll it out. And if you don't like these, this transition, you don't have to have that there at all. It can just be one smooth neck. Now, for the rim itself, I like distinct rims. So I'm actually going to separate out what will become the rim, and in this case, it's this. I really like ancient Roman pottery. And they always have these, just these chunky rims, so thick, you know, just these strong, thick rims, not those delicate ones that a lot of other cultures have been attached to. Wanda. Just using my finger to push in here. There we go. Okay. Now, if this was a really big piece, at this point, I'd probably let it dry for a little while, and then I would come back again when it's stiffened up, and I would do this. I would quite aggressively push into it. And this pot's not large, and it can take it. So we can do it all at one time. Now I'm going to change this a little bit just to show you that if you don't like something, you can get rid of it. And if I want that little section there to feel a little bit more graceful, I can use this guy and just slide it right in here. It almost fits perfectly. There we go. And now I do this. There it is. Okay. All right, so for the purpose of the demo, there we've got a nice vase. Now, let's say that I threw this and maybe it didn't stay quite as round as I would like. Oh boy, I'm just sweating like crazy. I could take advantage of this shape and pull it just a little wider, which isn't a bad look for this pot anyways. 2 pieces of wood. And now we got a pitcher. So, and I'll do that if something is a little bit off, and I'll take the point that it swings the widest, and that will be the point that I'll just line up. And usually I would use 2 ribs that are the same, but this works well enough. And I would typically just really lock my elbows in, put the 2 tools up against, and roll them through. Roll them through. Doesn't that make a nice little picture? All right. Hope that was helpful. It was fun.